a job site that's in the middle of its progress. You can see in the space, it's a small patio area. And I have to tell you, the smaller the space is, the more the details matter immensely. And so as I sit here and the guys are kind of halfway through the process, I wanted to show you a few things that we've done so far and then talk about contractors in general. This is an Italian slate stamp that they put on this outdoor living space, and then they're going to cut on centers every 3 feet. They're cutting a diamond shape, or I guess it's a square, on a 45-degree angle into this space. And all of those details seem pretty simple, but there's so much that has to be fleshed out to make sure that it's really exactly what we want. For example, where do you start those squares, right? So we started them centered on the center set of doors in this outdoor space, and then also there are columns in the space that kind of poke out a little bit. So when you're doing a border around like we are here, do we bring it around the column? Do we just incorporate it in? Is it wider or narrower in some spots? Do we dye the border a little different color to give it some interest? So there's 1,000 different decisions that have to be made in a situation like this to make sure that we are giving the most amazing product to the client. And so that is what we're gonna do here. There's some places where you can see here the border pops out and around this column, but then I'll show you another area where we kind of just let it flow past, which made the most sense from a design standpoint. And then also for this border, the concrete company that we're using, which is Foxcrete, they're going to come back and dye this whole border a darker shade to just add a little interest to the space. They're also going to come back after they're finished cutting those 3-foot on centers. They're also going to add another color to give it some contrast. It's truly going to look like stone out here, but it's not. It's concrete. It really is magical what they do. And I wanted to talk to you too about the contractor, because having a contractor not only that can execute the job well, but is easy to work with, can negotiate some differences and make sure that the job is being done. Like, we've had rain for the last 3 weeks straight, I think. And so they really had to work hard to get this concrete in here and still make it look good. And so you just want to make sure that you have a contractor that's easy to work with and can make changes on the go, because that's exactly what's had to happen here in this job. Another difference too is negotiating the differences between having a step in a space and just a slope. For example, again, since this is a completely walled in space, we had to make sure that the water was draining properly out to the areas that they needed to. So the pitch has to be right, everything has to be sloped correctly. And we talked about, do we do a step and put everything to a step and step down? No, what we ended up doing was we did a slope out the door that goes into an alleyway. So all these things are just a continual conversation between the designer and the contractor, and they're super important to achieving the look that we want, that basically no one ever notices that all these decisions went into it, but that's our secret, but it's the most important thing in having a relationship that creates an amazing outdoor space for our client.